G'day, Gary Pye here. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been able to take my XP Pen 24 Pro drawing display and run it through its paces. Taking it through some of the software I use, including CorelDRAW, Adobe After Effects, Photoshop, Cartoon Animator, video editing software, and more. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to produce a series of videos showing each of those programs in action with the drawing display. However, in this video, I thought it might be nice just to talk about some of the fantastic features of this drawing display for those of you who might be thinking about heading in this direction. If you're thinking about buying a display from XP Pen for your work, here's a couple of things you might want to know. The first thing that struck me about the XP Pen is the weight of it, the build. It's a durable, professional, solid, well-constructed piece of equipment. You can lean on it as you would a normal drawing board without the worry of feeling that you're going to damage it, crack it, or bend it. I genuinely thought when I got this that it would just be a lightweight tablet, and it's not. It's darn heavy. In fact, the 24 Pro is not mobile. You couldn't sit with this thing on your lap and draw. You need a table. It's a drawing board that's going to stay set up in your office space. You're not going to be carrying this around to sit under a tree in the park and do some drawing. This is a drawing board that is a solid, heavy, well-built piece of equipment. One of the best things about this display for somebody like me who is not technologically minded, I'm not very good at setting up equipment. Generally, the process of doing that scares the heck out of me. The display was really easy to set up. It was pretty much just plug and play, download the driver, and away you go. Just make sure that you don't have any other drivers from previous tablets installed on your machine. You'll want to get rid of those first. But otherwise, this thing just worked first time out of the box, which was an absolute pleasure. Possibly the most important feature of the drawing board for me is the actual surface of the glass itself. That when you're drawing on it, it's wonderfully smooth. I work in an air-conditioned controlled environment, which is great because I'm a person that sweats, and generally if I'm working on a glass surface, my hand tends to stick. Now, the XP Pen comes with a drawing glove. So far, I haven't even had to use it. The responsiveness of a drawing tablet is obviously going to be a main feature for most people because, well, that's what you're buying it for. You want to know that when you're drawing, that the responsiveness of the pen on the tablet is going to record the motions so that it doesn't interrupt your workflow. And I find the responsiveness on the XP Pen drawing display is very accurate. It's precise. I'm somebody who does a lot of quick flicking drawing motions when I draw. The pen keeps up with me. I don't have any problem. The pressure sensitivity is fantastic. You can go from a nice thin line through to a thick brush stroke. It's fantastic. It feels like you're drawing with real world equipment like brushes and pens and textures and crayons. It's a wonderful feeling of having a massive art box all in one digital display. The XP Pen drawing display is one of those cases where size matters. In my opinion, you want to go for the biggest board your budget will allow. The reason for this is when you're working with the 24-inch display, you've got room to move. It's as simple as that. You have room to actually move your hand about and sketch and paint. You're not constricted. I find that you don't have to constantly zoom the screen to try and make a workable area. The red wheels and the hotkeys. These are fantastic. I am absolutely in love with the red wheels. On the left, I have my red wheel set up for zooming, and I find it's very natural and fast, especially when I come from working on a Surface Pro quite a lot where you're actually using your fingers to pinch and zoom. I found the red wheel is fantastic. It's just a nice quick flick motion, and you can zoom in and out of your artwork as you need to. And then the wheel on the left, set up for rotating your screen, is fantastic because I tend to work all on one angle. If I'm trying to draw horizontal lines on a tablet, I find it very difficult, but with the XP pen, I can rotate the screen so that I'm drawing my horizontal lines at a 45-degree angle and then rotate the artwork back again when I'm done. And I find that very comfortable when I'm drawing. The hotkeys around the outside of the drawing display are brilliant because it's just one-touch activation to do things like copy and paste and save and you name it, whatever you want to set your key functions up to do can be done. The biggest problem that I have with it, which is a wonderful problem to have, is that the 24 Pro has 20 buttons, all of which can be customized for each piece of software. The hardest problem I have is trying to remember what button does what. But even now, after 2 weeks of using it, I'm starting to remember exactly what key does what. And it makes your workflow much faster because it doesn't take you out of the drawing process. It's just click. You're not constantly stopping to look up menus. You just click and move straight on. The hotkeys are fantastic. One of the things I was really worried about when I first set up my XP pen was color matching. Was the color on the display going to match the color on my screen? Was I going to get a similar output? As it turns out, for me personally, the default settings were perfect. I haven't touched the brightness or gamma or any of the controls on the XP pen. I find that the default settings were perfect, and that was a huge weight off my mind. I come from a history of working with a little Wacom drawing tablet where the tablet was off to the side. I looked at the computer screen. Eye-hand coordination was important. That's how I did my drawing for over 20 years. With the XP Pen drawing display, you're drawing directly on the surface of the display. So it feels like you're working at a drawing board on a piece of board. Everything you do comes up in real time. It's amazing. The responsiveness is fantastic. The workflow, thanks to the red dials and the express keys, speeds up everything that you're doing. The surface area gives you all the room that you need to work with. It's easy to set up. It's plug and play. It turns on in seconds. Hit a button, you're working. This is a wonderful piece of machinery. It's definitely made a massive impact on my work, particularly in the drawing software like Photoshop. That's where this display absolutely shines because you can sit down, you've got a great big area to work with, and you can just work. You don't get bogged down with menus and anything around the outside because you've got your express keys. You just sit down and work. It's fantastic. So coming up very soon, I'm going to post some videos of me in action working in the individual software pieces that I use. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.